You're listening to the Manifesting Miracles podcast. By tuning in today, you're dialing into your frequency of abundance. I'm Michelle J. Lamont, your manifestation master and guide. Ever since 2016, I've been obsessively dedicating my life to uncovering, dissecting, and analyzing every aspect of the practices and modalities in which we call manifestation. You see, you are truly more powerful than you can even imagine and fully capable of manifesting miracles on the daily. I'm going to teach you how to attract a life beyond your wildest dreams using your own divine power. So let's get started manifesting your miracles right now. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It is time for us to align ourselves with the highest and the biggest version of this time-space reality. If this is your first time tuning in from anywhere in the world, we're on in 64 countries, over 300,000 of you, plus almost hitting 400,000 have tuned in to experience what it's like to hear the truth about manifesting and to use these techniques and these lessons and these master teachings to manifest your miracles. And I'm not here to see you not get what you want. I'm pouring into you each and every single time you listen to one of my podcasts, because I know one thing for sure, that you, yes, you, look at yourself in the mirror. Look at yourself in the rearview mirror. Look at yourself in the reflection of a knife if you're sitting somewhere at a restaurant listening. Look at yourself in the mirror of your home. You are a beautiful divine soul. And in this time-space reality, you feel confused. You feel disenfranchised. You feel disconnected. You're not sure if you're on the right path. You're not sure if you're doing it right. You're not sure if you're worthy of it. You're not sure if you're supposed to be using manifesting or if it's all big hooey-pooey. It is the time and the space for you to work with your guides and your angels, and on your spiritual journey, you have crossed over into a new matrix. I could not appear in your vibrational reality if you were not able to master manifesting, if you were not able to move to the quantum field, if you were not able to understand this dimensional universe. And so it is a mindset block that is telling you in this moment in time that you're not going to get it, that it's not going to happen for you, that maybe you can just be positive, that maybe if you could just get out of your way for a few minutes a day, you wouldn't want to feel so depressed. You wouldn't feel so negative. You wouldn't feel as if the walls are always closing in on you. What happens if the other shoe drops? What happens if you get fired? What happens if he leaves you? What happens if she leaves you? What happens if they never come? What happens if you never are financially stable? And I want to go over 3 master laws. And these are not laws that are written in a book. These are not laws that you can go and Google and find. These are from my years and years and years of teaching people, of doing workshops, of using the techniques and the practices on myself to manifest unbelievable things into my reality and to release all of the energies that I thought were imprisoning me, that I believed because I did not understand why other people had it so fucking good. And I was toiling away, leaning towards the thought of ending my life, and then an attempt, episode 2, if you haven't heard it, go check it out. And until I leaned into these realizations, until I took the big leap of faith into understanding that I was a divine creator and that me and the creator were not separate, it was nearly impossible for me to manifest. I would get something and then I would lose something, and I would get something and I would lose something. So no matter where you are on manifesting your miracles, my love, no matter where you are on this ethereal cosmic journey into this cosmic universe in which you and the universe and the cosmos and the stars are all aligned, The universe, the matrix, has decided that you should listen to this podcast, that this podcast would be an energetic field in which you could see yourself manifesting things into your reality, where you could be in alignment for the things that you desire most, because you are not supposed to be separated from it. The ideas didn't come to you, my love, because you're so creative and you're such a genius, and you're creative and you're a genius, but they are the light out of the dark tunnels. This is the way home. And so many people have been so afraid to talk about it because they'll sound crazy. They'll be the tin hat people. Well, why do you think the people who are in charge has made sure that teachers and herbs and natural pathways and the practice of meditation and all of these other things were non-societally seen as powerful? You were one of those weird ones. Well, get really fucking weird. Get really fucking weird. Because in order for you to understand the master laws we're going to talk about today, you have to suspend all reality. In fact, the avatar known as you is pretty badass. You're fucking sexy. You're fucking incredible. You're a divine light being. And you have chosen to incarnate on Earth, the teaching planet, to create a little chaos in this avatar. And that chaos has looked like fear. It has looked like an imprisonment of your energy. But once we understand the first quantum law, the first quantum lesson, the first master assignment of our reality, things are going to open up. The light's going to come in. You're going to start snapping. You're going to be like, oh, damn. Oh, what? Wait, what? And I want to help you understand that. I want you to understand exactly what I'm talking about. So one of the first things I want to talk about is quantum leaping. And when people talk about quantum leaping or moving into a new parallel universe, to me it seems very deceptive. It seems as if you would just, and this is where I really didn't get it in the beginning. It would seem like you would just wake up and all of a sudden you're in your dream home and you're in the dream car with the dream partner and the dream life, and you get paid to be a dog mom and exist, excuse me, or a stay-at-home mom or dad, or whatever gender you see yourself as. No bias here. I want you to understand. I'm way past any type of judgment. I'm way past any type of situations like that. Because in the quantum field, we have to understand that everything is energy. And when we're talking about moving into a quantum field, you're not leaping from one body to another. You're energetically stepping into the other two master lessons that we're going to cover today and changing the vibration from matter to particle. So when you say you're jumping into a quantum field, it's very deceptive. Somehow it implies that the reality that you're living in right now isn't the perfect reality for you to manifest. And in quantum physics, we are either particle or matter. You're either stuck in to the particle-based reality or the matter-based reality. And when you're a vibrational match to the things that you want to create, you're in a 3D reality. And when you're operating out of the 3D reality, how does life feel? It feels forced. It feels like you have to manipulate everything. You have to force everything. You have to do a million things to get people to buy your houses, to buy your products, to support this reality of yours. So you become competitive. You act like it's a zero-sum game. You act like there's a lack of money in the world. There's a lack of consumers. There's a lack of people interested in furthering your path. But baby, my love, listen closely. Everything in your reality is either wave or matter. And that particle versus matter needs to be understood. It needs to be understood in the quantum field. And when we widen the field, we are less attached to our history. We're no longer going over and over again in our head or in our story or in our chronology. The time that we were sexually abused, the time that we hurt somebody, the time that somebody hurt us, the time where it was very unfair, the time that your parents didn't give you, the time that your partner isn't giving you, the fact that you lost that person, the fact that that journey ended. That is all your density. That is all of the things that are keeping you trapped in a quantum field where you are not wave. Everything is what? Frequency, vibration, and energy. Why do you think everybody says, whenever you listen to all the different people who teach manifesting, outside of myself, everybody talks about you have to be a frequency, a vibration to the energy that you want to meet. What does that mean? You have to be lighter. And in that quantum leaping ideology, you no longer are in competition with anybody because you know that there is enough of everything. There isn't a limited resource of anything, except the fear that you have been indoctrinated in by living in this society. And that you are forced to do all of these things to create a reality that allows you to live the way that you want to live. And that is the opposite of quantum leaping. But when you're in flow, when you're in wave, when you are more wave than matter, your field of energy, your quantum field is restored. And in the 3D reality, you have to force things. You have to be competitive. You're not wanting everybody to rise as high as you. You don't want your neighbor to be as successful as you. You want to be the biggest one. But when you are quantum leaping, you are absorbing and using all of your precious energy to create. If person across the street, if neighbor, if ex-lover, if ex-partner, if enemy is doing great, it doesn't take away from you. And by focusing in on their winning and you think you're losing, you're playing a different game and you're giving away your very important quantum energy. Because you have to be a creator. And in order to be a creator, you have to be in flow. And in order to quantum leap, you have to be more wave than matter. And so in that realization, you don't have to live in those anxieties and fears anymore. So I recently did a TikTok about this, and I talked about this podcast. When I first started the podcast, everybody who was advising me said, oh, you got to bring on guests, and you have to have other people on the podcast, and you have to have a co-host, and then you have to advertise, and then you have to go to these events, and then you have to talk about the podcast, and then you have to market the podcast. But I set an intention that the people who were a vibrational match to absolutely manifesting their miracles, they would then become a vibrational match to the vibration of this flow. And in this flow, you feel supported. You know why you listen to one episode and then another and another and another? Because that flow feels good. It feels like for the first time, you're safe. It feels like something is clicking. And I've never had a podcast guest. I've never had a co-host. I've never spent one penny on advertising. And I have won more awards than I even have shelves to put them on. I'm on the top 5% out of 230,000 shows on iTunes and spirituality. Over 300,000 plus of you have listened. And there's over 200 plus episodes, so you can go binge on one after another, after another, after another. I'm always in flow. The second I hit record on this microphone, there's no scripts. There's no agenda. In this vibrational flow reality, I am wave and not matter. And so can you. So I believe that the people who would be ready to manifest their dreams would find my podcast, and here you are. And so then you share it with your friends and your neighbors, and you post it on Instagram, you post it on TikTok, you post it on LinkedIn, you post it on Pinterest, you put it in your group chat, you tell your friends about it, and you binge listen, or you go to my YouTube and watch it, because it's a vibrational match to keep you in flow. Every time you're listening to this podcast, if you're listening all day long, every single day, your life will change, period. Why? Because you are quantum manifesting. You are quantum leaping into a new reality. So in quantum physics, we understand, and what we know is that your field of energy is very limited. And when you're constantly using that field in your history, that means remembering all those times and all those things that went wrong, is living in a moment or wishing somebody would come back. That timeline's not going to change, because the quantum field is too matter and not enough wave. Because you're not in the vibration, the frequency, and the energy. Because you feel like you have to be vindicated. Because you feel like you're in competition. Because you don't want somebody else to get ahead of you. That is fear-based reality. But when you're in the vibrational flow, you're going to understand that suffering is a choice, and that living in a moment that has already passed, or worrying about a moment that has yet to occur, in quantum physics, that is quantum leaping. Because when you are right here, right now, in this moment, everything is okay. You have food to eat. You have a reality in which you can create. You're listening to a podcast. You're a vibrational match to the vibration, the universe in which I create, in which you create. You created me and I created you. And when you quantum leap, it means that you're living in the present moment. And when you do, you are the most powerful divine energy. And in this current state, you are the currency of what you want to manifest. Manifesting is the art of bringing something from thought to reality. And in this quantum field, I want you to help you understand this a little bit better. And I want you to understand that opening up your quantum field, meaning feeling that you can manifest a vibrational match to the flow in which those things come about, is letting go of that history and understanding that in the quantum field, and in order to understand quantum physics, you have to be a vibrational match in this moment. You have to stay current. You have to stay right here. You don't become possessive. You don't become jealous. You don't become bitter. You forgive the unforgivable. Because you can either be matter versus matter and force things, or vibration and frequency and flow. Now, what are the two other masters that I want to discuss today? The first is the lessons of allowing fear in. And I know it sounds crazy that I would say you should allow fear in, but you have to understand that you have to allow fear to be the biggest messenger, the biggest signal, the biggest satellite lightning bolt in the middle of the road, almost caught you on fire, motherfucker that ever lived. That's the first lesson. And allowing fear to be the messenger, to be the signal, you become aware of the things that are keeping you more matter than wave. You quantum leap into a different dimensional reality. And it's here to give you information. It's attempting to be a signal to shake you up. Do you know what emotions are? How do they define emotions in science? EMO, emotions, are energy in motion. So when you listen to this podcast and you feel unlimited, and you feel like a vibrational match to calling in and being present in this moment, gives you some sort of peace right here, right now. You're not living in your history, and you're not worried about your future. You're quantum leaping, meaning you're calling back all of those things that were dragging you down in the 3D. And that to have those negative beliefs, you cannot allow them to be the dominator and to put you back like a turtle in its shell. Fear is a portal. It's an alert. It's saying, babe, this is the way out. That's the biggest lesson of fear. Point number 2. And when you're out of alignment, when you are no longer creating, you're in vibrational flow, you have a stronger connection to the fear than to anything else. And therefore, you become back to an equal match to 3D, where you have to exchange a thing, an hour, a body part, an education for the financial flow. That doesn't mean that you're going to be sitting in your living room and every day the bank truck is going to come and drop off a big bag of money to you. What it means is that you will be able to live a life in which you are creating and you are confronting fear as a teacher. And the lesson, the alert, the thing that says you can't do that. There's too many risks involved. I have children. I don't have enough money. I'm not the right ethnicity. My parents would never allow it. My family wouldn't do it. I couldn't move that way. Then you become a rejecter of the lesson. You have to recognize fear as doing its job. Fear, the lesson of fear, which is the second part of this, is that fear is doing a very good job. It's shaking up your universe. When you have an emotion about switching, leaving that job, leaving that situation, leaving that relationship, leaving that home, when you're shaking to the core by even thinking about that thought, you either quantum leap into a new reality where you step through the portal of fear, and that's the third, loving this situation, or you retreat, and so the fear becomes bigger, and so the universe sends more and more messengers and makes your life look worse and makes you look smaller and makes the dimensional universe seem unattainable. Fuck fear. Fuck fear. Fuck it. It is here to be a lesson. It is a motivator. You are not allowed to give away all of your vibrational currency and live in a 3D reality where you're all matter versus matter. But to allow fear to work in your favor, you become the master of your reality. And once it delivers its information of what it's bringing to your attention, it no longer holds any power in this reality. Go back and listen to the episode where I talk about how I manifested my $1 million dream view. And listen to how scared I was to sell my house, how I was hugging the walls and crying, because I had been homeless. And it was the only security I had in the world. And I even called my nieces. I'm like, I don't know if I should do this. I don't know if I should move to Florida. If you had told me, if you had shown me that the end of the fear, at the back end of that portal that this would be my reality, I would have done it in 2 seconds. But that's not the lesson of fear. The lesson of fear is that the bigger the fear, the better the results. The more you are intimidated by that reality, the bigger it is on the other quantum side. And so when they talk about quantum leaping and understanding the master lessons, and that it is a field of energy, and that fear is a leader, it is a lesson, then you will start to learn the third lesson, to love it. And once it brings you to that realization, once you are a vibrational match to go, oh my God, I'm so scared of this, I gotta do it. I gotta do it. Oh Lord, how am I gonna get it done? How am I, excuse me, I had to take a drink. How am I gonna make that payment? How's somebody gonna hire me for my business? How am I gonna be singing on that stage? How am I going to be writing that book? How am I going to leave this limiting reality? It feels so safe and warm in here. It feels like you're dying. It feels like you're staying in place. You're not learning to quantum leap. You're not learning the lesson of fear. But once it's brought to your attention, you'll be excited. You'll be excited to conquer the fear, because you'll understand it is a portal in which the other side is the ultimate desires for you. Once you can thank fear for coming into your reality to show you something about yourself, damn. You love fear. You step into fear with open arms. Nipples hard, vagina wet. Yeah, baby, I am so damn scared I'm shaking. Tip to tail, I'm shaking. Ball dropping, stomach dropping fear should now excite you. And the allowing of all of that vibrational currency to bring you to a reality in which you become the ultimate creator is exciting. We all have fear. In fact, I have a course called Fear is a Motherfucking Liar. Because in a 3D reality, you're using fear and weaponizing it instead of embracing it, instead of understanding it, instead of opening up your arms, your legs, your whole energetic body and saying, okay, fuck, I'm scared to death, but I'm going to get on the first seat of the roller coaster called fear of my reality changing, of the quantum field, and I am going to take the ultimate ride, going 600 feet down at a single drop. Boo! Stomach quenching, stomach dropping fear. And when you do that, all of a sudden, you want everybody to talk you out of it. I tried to get everybody to talk me out of leaving that house and that reality because I had become so sedentary in the fact that nothing was falling apart. I'm like, wait. I've had so much pain and so much suffering and so much disillusionment and so much disappointment in my life. I cannot handle another fucking thing falling apart. I may not make it this time. And what a fucking powerful teacher fear is. The bigger the fear, the better the results. The bigger the fear, the better the results. And once you can let it go, you can thank fear. As soon as you use fear to allow you to be what it is, to do a job designed to what it was supposed to do, you'll never live in that fear energy without it being an alert, a trigger, a signal that change is coming. You'll feel so excited about it. You'll understand that the reason that nobody talks about taking the big leap, about jumping into the unknown, is because if everybody did it, we would all be living a free fucking life. We would cut the cords to our ancestry. We would cut the cords to our dimensional universe. We would cut the cords to our fear. We would cut the cords to being right. We would cut fucking cords to proving something. And we would just allow, making you more and more and more and more flow, and less and less and less matter. And so then you wake up, and all of a sudden, your reality is different. Time just seems to be suspended. You don't listen to the people around you who are living in the safety, who have taken the shortcuts, who have said, oh, this is good enough for me. Because guess what? They're going to come back in another time-space dimension and have to relive all of these things, but not you. Not you, my beloved. You're a manifesting manifester. You are embodying the universe as a soul in a body. And God Source Energy is experiencing all the different dimensions of fear through watching you walk through those walls. Walk in and turn the dark into light. It's an alert. It's an alert that you are out of alignment for what you really came here to manifest. And if it's something that you really don't understand, I want you to book a free 15-minute call with me. Every Tuesday, I offer a free 15-minute call to discuss what service might be best for you. I have 1-hour calls, 2-hour calls, 3-hour calls. One of my favorite programs is 6 Weeks to Success. You and I, every single week, for 6 weeks, will work together every single day, 1 hour a week on Zoom. But all week long, we are touching base. You have full access to me for 6 weeks. Imagine if you and I were to go over everything together and come up with your master plan. What would your life look like on the other side of fear? Well, if you're curious, you'll look at my website, michellejlamont.com, and you'll see the pages of hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people who have taken the risk of investing their time, their energy, and their resources into one of my programs, whether it's one of my digital classes, whether it's my one-on-one coaching, and then outside of the 6 weeks, I offer 90-day coaching. But it's time for you to step into the quantum field where you are in vibrational flow. It is time for you to take a chance to change the way that you're living right now. I have never, ever, ever taken somebody to 6 weeks of success where they did not say their life had changed. Never. Energetically, I'm going to work harder and harder to make sure that you get it. My programs work. My teachings work. I use them on myself all the time. I manifest unbelievable things for myself all the time because I operate in the quantum field. I understand quantum physics. I understand the lessons of fear. I understand to love it. Doesn't mean that I don't experience it. Of course, I experience it all the time. But then I use all the tactics and techniques that I teach in my 6 Weeks to Success program, in my live group courses, in my digital courses. You only get one turn in this life. There's only one time that you go around in this body. And I know that you are in fear that what if I invest and nothing changes? What if I take that chance and nothing changes? That's the fear. That's the lesson. I will hold your hand through all of it. I will teach you everything that I can, that I know, that is proven, that has transformed my life and hundreds of thousands of you listening right now. I get messages every single day. Your podcast changed my life. Every day, if I don't listen to your podcast, I become depressed. I was on anxiety medication. I'm no longer on it. Why? Because fear is not the way to leave this world. mastering it, becoming a flow to the vibrational creative universe that is you, is the way to leave this world. But while you're here, don't walk through another portal and claim it as your life. Separating yourself in that quantum energy is the way that you will truly co-collaborate with God's source energy. And breaking fear free of the greatest fear indicates the threshold of freedom. And you have to allow fear to be the messenger, to give you the information that it's attempting to tell you. That you have a negative belief. You can't be afraid of the fear. You have to recognize it and allow it to do its job. And once you hear the signal, once you understand what it's saying, once it's ringing the bell that you have a negative belief here, that's where you grow, that's where you transform, that's where you transmute. I love you. You are known. You matter. No matter where you are on this vibrational universe, this multi-dimensional teaching planet Earth quantum field, you were a vibrational match to this podcast. Your angels and your guides were sick and tired of you not stepping up to the plate and allowing fear, allowing you to be wave, allowing you to matter, allowing you to vibrate in that currency of abundance. Ends now. This is the last day of that. But if you're not ready to start working with me, if you're still too scared, I get it. But I won't accept it. So I'm going to ask you to go in and listen to another episode and listen to another episode and listen to another episode. Pick them by the title that works for you. And I have something in my library of podcasts it's going to be the perfect thing for you to listen to today, and then again and again and again, and share it with your friends and talk about it on social media and spread the awareness. And if you can, write a review either on my website. If you're on Spotify, give me 5 stars. Right there where you see the show notes, you'll see you can give me 5 stars, or you can write a review for me on iTunes. The reason that matters is because you become a dimensional adjustment in the algorithm of those platforms, and then my podcast is shown to more and more people. That's how this has grown, because once you become healed, you want to help everybody, and this is how to help them. All right, we're going to call it a day because I have been going too long, and unfortunately I'm running out of time. So let's just end with and if this is your first time listening and you don't know how we end the show, we want to end on a high. Besides working with me, which is the smartest thing you could ever do, I want you to come with me on a vibrational journey and say these affirmations. Are you ready? Everything is always working out for me. We're going to say that 3 times, and then we're going to say the word everything 3 times. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything. Again. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. Everything is always working out for me. You are known, you are loved, you are a manifesting manifester. Please step into fear and listen to this podcast 4 or 5 times, just in a row. Go listen again and again and again, and watch your life transform. All right, producers, cue that music. I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you. Thanks for listening to this episode of Manifesting Miracles. Now it's time for you to take action. I invite you to hang out with me just a little bit more by signing up for my newsletter. You'll get instant exclusive access to the practices that will chart your own path to abundance and yes, spark that highest version of you. Head to the show notes right now so you don't miss a thing. Now listen, I fucking believe in you. And it's now time for you to win. Yes!